It's my pleasure to welcome you to the Clark Howard Show, where our mission is to serve you with advice and information that empowers you so you make better financial decisions in your life. And I hope you're getting excited for your weekend. I know I am always. But first, I'm excited to hear your corrections and your admonishments for the stinky advice I've given out in our weekly Clark Stink segment. And later, I want to guarantee that we get more Clark Stinks posts by giving you my perspective on crypto and how I want you to think about it. So get ready. Some of you who are really into crypto, you can go ahead and start writing your Clark Stinks now. But without further ado, it's time for this week's Clark Stinks.
I should have never encouraged you to speak.
You must think I'm pretty stupid.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe you're right, pal.
So I just stand here awkwardly. Those of you who watch our YouTube show know that. While Christa is dancing, swaying to the music, I couldn't dance if my life depended on it.
You should do the Elaine from Seinfeld.
I don't know that. Oh, where you?
It's the worst dancer in the world.
Oh, it's like. Is that it?
Yeah, that's good. All right. Zach in Texas says, Clark, I love you. You have my favorite podcast, but this Valentine's Day season, you stunk like a bouquet of wilted roses forgotten in the back of a hot car. Here's why. You said on the podcast that Sam's Valentine's bouquets averaged around $50 delivered. I thought, wow, that's amazing. So I hopped onto Sam's site, put that $50 bouquet in my cart, and then, yikes, the delivery fee was $125.
What?
No thanks. I drove to Aldi, bought 4 beautiful little bouquets, arranged them myself, and my new wife was absolutely thrilled. And I saved well over that $125 delivery fee. Thanks for all that you do. But yeah, man, you missed the mark last week, really. And then Neal Chandra wrote in this one. Clark, you stunk on Valentine's Day. Dollar store gifts? Psh, we can beat that. Take your lovely bride to the local thrifty/Rite Aid, treat her to a 99-cent ice cream cone, escort her over to the Hallmark card section, pick out the sappiest cards for one another, read them to each other aloud while devouring your ice cream, laugh your butts off, then politely return the cards to their proper spots. Voila! Valentine's Day for $2. All kidding aside, we love you, Clark, and thank you so much for your valuable advice.
All right, let me go back to the Sam's Club thing. You could knock me over with a feather because I looked on their website, didn't see anything about a delivery charge. I know on the Costco site there were all these arrangements you could do for Valentine's Day for $50. Now we're too far past Valentine's Day to know what was actually going on at the Sam site. But I've always said that nothing beats self-delivered flowers instead of stranger-delivered flowers. So, I always buy Lane roses from Costco before the price increase for the weeks leading up to Valentine's Day. I did that this year. But then she sent me to Trader Joe's with a shopping list, and they had a special on tulips. And so I bought her an arrangement of tulips that they had. And it was like $7 or something.
I love Trader Joe's flowers.
And the tulips were just beautiful. And she loves tulips.
Oh, yeah.
They were wonderful, except what does she have to do with the tulips?
Put them in a vase?
Put them in a vase high up. Because one time I brought her tulips from TJ's. And what happened?
One of your dogs ate it?
Ate them.
The dog that
ate everything all the way down the stem. And then we had to go to the emergency vet center.
Is this the same dog that ate like cocoa powder one time?
Yeah, ate cooking cocoa powder, and another time ate grill wipes.
Oh my gosh.
Has been at the emergency center for all those things.
She weighs like 2 pounds. And
9 pounds.
She's got 9 lives.
And she has
9 pounds and 9 lives.
She has made it to double digits.
Okay.
And it's absolutely shocking. This is our dog, Winston Churchill, who's made it to 10 years, 10 and a half now.
All right, we'll move on.
It costs more than a college tuition for all these vet costs.
But you love her.
Oh, absolutely.
Josh in Pennsylvania says, Clark's explanation of Trump accounts gave off an especially foul odor. To call it an explanation isn't even accurate because he didn't say what investment options are available or what the tax treatment is other than quote-unquote crummy. I understand you don't like it, but how am I supposed to make an informed decision based on your segment? Also, isn't this a big step towards helping people save for retirement and not depend on Social Security? And this one from Mike in Maryland. Clark, you're missing out on a great strategy with the Trump account that will hand your child a $10 million tax-free retirement account. When they turn 18, it converts to a traditional IRA. During those likely low-income college years, they can then convert everything to a Roth without paying any or very little taxes. Let time work its magic from there, and then they have a tax-free account sitting there with 8 figures in it waiting for them at retirement. You should rethink your strategy here. And also, many people wrote in wanting further explanation of what the tax bomb is.
Yeah.
And then others were angry that you even talked about it for political reasons that I won't go into.
Well, I mean, that's the hard part in a country that's so split for all these things to have the president's name on them, because things that could be really good to use, there are people who won't do it because the president's name is on it. And there are other people who will put money into something or make a choice because the president's name is on it, and it may not be a good option for them. So I wish that these things had more benign names like child IRA for this or something like that. So we don't do politics here on the show because we are a safe zone for people away from politics. There's plenty of places you can go if you want to be angry at each other. That's not what we're about. Okay, so on the Trump accounts, because that's what they're called, they are set up to be very advantageous for kids born over a 3-year period where the government will seed the money with $1,000 you just get. Then there are companies and individuals that are giving money to kids. It may be for income levels or whatever. There's whatever people want to do. And then that's free money. Absolutely great to have a Trump account in those two circumstances. And yes, there are things you can do where you can put money into a Trump account, even though tax time bomb. If a kid as an adult just takes the money and spends it, the tax treatment of it is not good at all. I'll leave it at that.
Well, no, I think you should say it because people want you to be explicit. What does a tax time bomb mean?
Tax time bomb means a lot of things with the code, if they're not used for the intended purpose, like this for retirement, you will have what's known as ordinary income tax, which is the highest tax rate it could be. And if a child is a dependent, depending on what tax laws might be 18 years from now, it could be the much higher parental rate instead of the kid's own tax rate. Also, potentially subject to a 10% penalty when not used for specific purposes. Okay, so let's move away from that and tell you we heard all the feedback, and so we have put together a comprehensive guide to how Trump accounts work, the pluses and minuses, how to benefit the most from the pluses and avoid as much as possible the minuses at Clark.com. And it's just straight information. And that's where you should go to find out much more specifics. Now, going back to what I said when I talked about it on the podcast, if you are thinking, hey, our kid might go to college, other than the free money you get from somebody else, the superior move is to open a 529 account for your child. We have a full explanation of those on Clark.com, Clark.com/529. And that money, up to $35,000 of it, can later gross tax-free. Many states have an upfront tax benefit doing a 529. It's tax-free when used for eligible expenses, which goes beyond college. It can be private school, K through 12. It can be for various training programs, technical school, that kind of thing. And then whatever's not needed if the person never goes to college, whatever, up to $35,000 can be moved tax-free into a Roth IRA and continue for a lifetime to grow tax-free. It is, in my opinion, a superior choice to the Trump account. Now, going back to one thing I did not mention, investment choices. One of the things that's really nice about the Trump account is they recognize that these kind of accounts can be ruined by high commission, unethical salespeople with very, very costly, inferior products. So there are tight guardrails in the law to make sure that the investment choices in a Trump account are very, very low cost. Going to the 529s I've talked about in the past, we show you very clearly what are the investment choices in whatever state plan you're in that your 529 money should be invested in so that you also avoid high costs. Christa?
Okay, two more that were very popular posts. This one is an example of that from Hama in California. Clark and Christa stink like a corpse flower, but like a corpse flower, it only blooms once a year, so no big deal. Kidding aside, there's a very simple and elegant solution to making sure credit card charges are authorized and easy to reconcile. You don't need a third app, and you don't need to scan receipts unless you want to. I set up alerts on all my credit cards so I get a text or app notification every time a charge is made. The upside is huge. If anyone uses my card without an authorization, I know immediately and can contact the credit card company right away. No end of the month detective work required. So many people wrote in and said they do the same thing.
I love it because, I get that on Google Wallet where I get an alert every time. But this is where you have alerts from all your credit card companies beyond that. That's really a good idea. Thank you for that suggestion. And what kind of flower are you and I?
Corpse flower. Okay. Tony in Texas says, I can't believe I have to write a Clark Stinks about Clark's response to a Clark Stinks. That's like hiding a stinky diaper in a litter box. On a recent episode, Clark said he doesn't talk about IRS Free Fillable Forms because you have to mail your return in. That's totally incorrect. You can e-file for free. I've been doing it for years. For those of us that can't use free file but still like to spend less and save more, Free Fillable Forms saves you from spending on tax software and provides the opportunity to understand the tax code better. And lots of people do the same.
Yeah, and I want to tell you how this is like the perfect example. These last two posts about why we do Clark Stinks. Never am I supposed to have the final word. We all learn from each other. And I'm just a guy. I can't remember everything. And you also become lazy in your habits. So these posts help each other so much and help me as well. And I just love it.
Scott in Washington says, Clark smells worse than a number 2 diaper left in my trunk after a long road trip on a recent hot summer.
We got a lot of diaper references, don't we?
They're stinky. Clark often touts the various trip coverage benefits of the premium travel credit cards. I have a Chase Sapphire Reserve card, and I got this for a number of years ago for these benefits. Late last October, we got stranded overnight in Reykjavik after a freak snowstorm when all outbound flights got canceled. Who knew snowstorms in October were unusual events in Iceland? While our third stay in Iceland was not unwelcome, we love it there. Dealing with with Chase reimbursement was a nightmare. They eventually denied all claims as the airline policy states that they will reimburse travelers for expenses incurred due to canceled flights. Meanwhile, we're still waiting on the airline to process our claim more than 3 months later, and that stinks. The quote-unquote coverage was really non-existent. I canceled the card, but I'll never cancel Clark.
I want to thank you so much for that post because there's a lot written about the coverages from the premium travel cards. And what happens, I find, is that the marketing people come up with these things, and then the numbers crunchers are like, wait, do you realize how much that costs us? And so they overpromise and underdeliver. And I'm not speaking specifically about Chase. I'm talking about any of the cards. And it's the same problem if you buy a standalone trip policy of some kind. Getting paid on them is crazy difficult, and the insurers fail to act in good faith. Now, let's talk about failing to act in good faith. The airlines across Europe just cannot stand the consumer protections that are part of the law. And what Europeans do, and what Americans who are eligible under European rules need to know, is that they hire advocacy firms that take a cut of the action, because 100% of nothing is still nothing. And when Americans try to handle a claim with a European airline or a U.S. airline on a flight to or from Europe, you will just beat your head against the wall, because they're just going to stonewall you and not pay. These third-party firms that tend to take somewhere around 20 or so % of the money, sometimes 30%, know how to play the game and have much more success getting claims paid. I would be shocked if you ever get paid by the airline trying to do your claim directly.
And Ross in Texas says, Christa stinks like a nasty fast food order that gave me a tummy ache. During the question about Costco Travel car rentals offering add-on auto insurance, Clark said to check if the coverage was secondary. Stinky Christa did a brief cursory Google search in the background and confidently responded that Costco Travel was offering secondary coverage unless outside the U.S., and poor Clarky gave praise for the quick response as he was hoodwinked by the stink. You were reading the Citi Costco credit card car rental coverage documents, not the coverage offered through Costco Travel for their own rental cars, which was the original question.
Is that right?
So I looked at this, and that is the correct, that is for the Citi card. When I look at Costco's travel policy, it says, can I buy additional coverage on the rental cars? And what they say is you can buy additional coverage from the rental car companies, and you have to talk to them, or you can use our Costco Citi card, which provides the coverage I described. So I think if you buy a third policy, like an overall travel policy, it's from usually Allianz, I believe, through them, right?
I never have known how to say that company. I think it's Allianz, something like that.
Yeah.
We need a French speaker.
Yeah, I'm not sure about
what
that policy. So I guess I do stink.
No, I mean, come on. This car rental coverage is a toughie.
Yeah.
I have defaulted to I think it's funny, to the very card we heard the complaint about another travel thing, the Chase Sapphire Reserve, and I use that
That's
for
what
my
I use, yeah.
rental cars because of it being primary coverage. Fortunately, I've not had to deal with a claim and don't know how that would go.
I use that with booking through Costco Travel. But also someone else wrote in and said that you stink about the rental car travel coverage because their actual car insurance company says they cover rental cars. But the problem with that is then you're doing a claim against your auto insurance, which is why...
Which is the big thing you want to avoid, is having a claim against your auto insurance, because insurers don't cut you much slack on that. And so I want you to avoid making claims, which brings up a completely separate topic I'm just going to cover for 1 second that I apparently have confused people no end about, and that is homeowners insurance and when to make a claim. And I just want to emphasize this because obviously I've not explained it adequately. So I'm just going to throw this in right now. Completely unrelated to this Clark Stinks, but this made me think of it.
You're saying you stink, right? Is that what you're saying?
I do stink. Okay. So homeowners insurance has become a use it and lose it kind of proposition. The only time you make a homeowner's insurance claim is for a catastrophic loss. Do not trust where the policy says, oh, you can make a claim for this, make a claim for that, make a claim for the other thing. And you're only going to have your deductible. That's why I want your deductible to be as high as your mortgage company will let you do, or as high as you can stand. No more $500 deductibles, $1,000 deductibles, whatever. You need to be your own insurance company for more routine events, and you only file a homeowner's insurance claim for what would be a catastrophic loss. Now, everybody's definition of catastrophic is different, but you need to know that with the difficulties of obtaining and keeping homeowners insurance, the last thing you want is anything that is a claim, because it's like a mark of shame Hey, that rhymed. Anyway, thank you so much for all your Clark Stinks. And coming up ahead, I'm teeing you up for a full round of Clark Stinks as I'm going to talk about crypto.
So I stink again. I just looked at Costco Travel. I was wrong. It's not Allianz.
I thought I was done.
I know.
Okay.
Well, we're always trying to correct, right? If we
Yes.
just think wrong.
Okay.
Zurich looks like they underwrite a lot of the they write a lot of the Costco third-party travel insurance policies.
And you know, that is a moving target. Mm-hmm. It could be different by state. It could be different by product.
And you have to really read that individual policy before you book any travel insurance and see what it actually covers.
And do it when you've got no distractions, not while you're watching something or having your kids running around or whatever. You need to fully focus because the brochure sounds great. The contract language in an insurance policy is always what they don't want to do, not what they are going to do for you. Oh my goodness. That crossed into cynical. I don't like cynical. I just want you to be
careful.
Careful. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Just careful.
And then straight ahead, crypto. Crypto is a really, really polarizing activity. I've talked in the past about how my son, from time to time, plays in the crypto thing. And his best friend, going all the way back to middle school, is really into it and talks about his crypto wallets and all that. And the thing you need to understand is that crypto is still a truly unproven form of money. And why do I say unproven? Because one of the keys with money is that it represents stability. Crypto is anything but stable, having been very much part of the social media world with finfluencers talking about this new crypto is going to go to a zillion, or this is how you're going to make money with crypto. And you need to do this on this crypto exchange and whatever. Crypto is still an infant. And it also came to life in an era where buzz can create these enormous swings up and down. And I love it that recently I was reading an item in Barron's magazine about how certain people in the financial industry were touting how, in spite of the rough ride Bitcoin has had lately, that it was going to go to 200,000 a Bitcoin. And then others were saying the value of crypto is zero. It's all a hype machine. So it's too early to know which extreme is right. But what is clear is that crypto is highly volatile. And a lot of people are doing things in the crypto market where they're gambling with leverage on small moves in the crypto leading to big returns. And what they're not counting on, sort of say banking on, that would be a bad way to describe it, is that if the crypto you bought goes down, those losses are magnified because you did so with leverage, which essentially borrowed money. And there are a lot of really, really, really brilliant people, big money people, who've lost billions of dollars with leverage recently, betting on the movement of Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is just one of, and the best known, and considered to be the most mainstream of crypto. If it is an alternative money, it would not have, if it was really one, it would not have these enormous swings in value. Those swings in value are clearly an immature marketplace. It should not be that hard to show value day to day. And there are times that crypto, which a lot of people touted as an alternative to holding gold, moves in very different cycles than gold or another precious metal, a hedge against difficult times or uncertain times. Crypto acts more like a straight speculative endeavor. I will not call it an investment. And that's why the movements are so erratic and don't follow a normal pattern. So, am I telling you not to put any of your money in crypto? No. Am I telling you not to bet the farm on crypto? Yes. Am I telling you to only put money in a crypto that's money you would lose zero sleep over if you lost all your money? Absolutely. That's the most you put in crypto is what you can afford to lose and make no impact on your life. And borrowing, speculating, where you leverage your positions, oh man. And when people tell you that you can put your money on a crypto borrowing exchange and earn a great return on your money, and that it's so much better than having money in a CD or savings account where you are lending money to a financial institution. You tell me where the FDIC is or the NCUA for a crypto exchange. Let's talk about the people who thought they were doing zero risk lending and lost their money. So know that this is playing with fire. Now I've said it. Now, Clark.com/ClarkStinks is where those who are crypto advocates and feel I'm telling a slanted, one-sided, unfair, lame kind of idea about crypto. That's where you go post, and then Christa will read your posts.
Okay. We'll go to some questions. Brian in Pennsylvania sent this one in. In May, my fiance is scheduled to graduate from vet school.
Congratulations.
Yep. Brian says, woohoo, it has been a struggle, but she's almost there.
That's great.
We have a house together, and I've been covering the mortgage and home expenses. Last year, I had to take out a small home refinancing loan for some repairs, so her income will be welcomed. We also want to start saving for a wedding. Unfortunately, between undergrad and vet school, she has approximately $400,000 in student debt. I know she will be a great vet and it will be worth it, but right now I'm worried about a plan for her loans. She also has a little credit card debt for personal expenses. Do you have any recommendations for budgeting? She's very excited about her future first-year salary, but I'm worried about the school debt and our house expenses / wedding savings.
Okay, so Brian, both of you are going to hate me. So I'm going to say the part you're going to hate first, and then I'm going to talk about what you specifically asked. $400,000 in student loan debt. You got the mortgage. You had to take out a renovation loan. Isn't that what Brian called it? You have to do that. She's got some credit card debt. Your wedding is going to be beautiful because of the love the two of you have for each other. It's not going to be beautiful because you do a big fancy blowout wedding. Do a budget wedding. Don't build on more debt. That's my suggestion. Now I'm done with that. Okay. Now with the student loans, you got to get all the contracts out. And you got to figure out private loans, federal loans, fixed interest rate, floating rate, and then what those rates are. The federal loans probably qualify for one or the other of the various IBR programs, income-based repayment. And the IBR loan payments allow for the payments to rise and fall based on your income. First her income, then your income together. And then after so many years of payments, the remaining balance is forgiven. It's subject to tax, but it's forgiven. The private loans are a whole different matter, and I hope that it's very heavily tilted towards federal loans. They may, in fact, have a floating interest rate, and there's no loan forgiveness for them or anything like that. The priority generally is to pay only what's required under IBR on the federal loans and throw money as heavily as you can towards the highest interest rate private loans. And that will change over time which one's the highest interest rate. And then minimums against the others of the private loans. So this is a complicated process that requires just taking some time to figure out what makes up those $400,000 in loans so that every dollar that goes towards them is most efficiently put towards them. And congratulations on her completing an unbelievably difficult education. Veterinary medicine is so hard. It was funny because Lane was talking about, imagine a human doctor just has to understand the human body. Think about a vet has to understand the bodies of so many different animals. I mean, wow.
That's so true. All right. Dara in Maryland says, with tax season upon us, is it safe to enter our banking information into software like FreeTaxUSA or TurboTax
Yes.
to receive our tax refund?
Absolutely.
Okay. And you talk about setting up other bank accounts for Venmo or paying only utility bills. Should we be doing the same to get our tax refund?
No, I mean, the risk level is almost non-existent with the tax prep firms. You don't need to go to an extra step like that, like you would with Venmo or Cash App.
David,
And remember, Big Bad Zelle, don't use it.
Dave in Ohio says, I was listening to a recent discussion about businesses no longer accepting cash. For retailers, managing cash is quite an ordeal, beyond just fearing robbery. Counting drawers each shift, managing the float, moving cash between drawers, reconciling what's in the drawer versus the cash sales and returns throughout the day, researching discrepancies, pulling cash out to make bank deposits, adding a change acquired from the bank, and yes, adding in change, acquired from the bank, and yes, the risk of theft by an employee or a quick change artist pulling out that classic scam. It all adds up to be a lot of risk and overhead. On the flip side, businesses have to deal with credit card transaction fees plus the lag between when they complete the sale and when they get the deposits. Add the risk of chargebacks and credit card fraud, the seemingly simple transaction of accepting and receiving payment is really not so simple. No wonder there are so many fintech companies in the game. I don't blame a small retailer for opting to forego cash or to pass on the crazy credit card transaction fees to the customer.
I really appreciate this post because I have glossed over the other expenses that are kind of like hidden expenses of accepting cash beyond just being more subject to armed robbery. And I went to have acupuncture recently from an acupuncturist I've seen for years, and she was charging me for the session, and she was using Square. And I said, how come you're not charging me a fee for accepting Square? And she said, well, I don't feel really right about that. I said, well, what about if you gave a discount for your cash customers? And she said, well, I'll think about it. But the reality is, it's one of her biggest expenses, the credit card merchant processing fees. And I'm a big fan, even though I love using these reward cards, I'm a big fan of businesses that are charging me a fee to cover those expenses. Since we don't have a free market because of the Visa MasterCard cartel, I think that businesses should feel free to pass those costs on to us.
All right, and Monica in Pennsylvania had actually a question for me. She said, on the podcast, Christa mentioned she receives $10 a month off of her Peloton membership by using one of her credit cards. Can you please share which credit card offers this benefit? And that is the Chase Sapphire cards offer that $10 off.
I mean, what is this, the Chase Sapphire?
I know, but
podcast?
we've received a lot of questions about this. Like, it's very hard to keep up in these offers from all the credit cards. They come and go, and you have to opt in. And so we're trying to find a free solution for people to organize that better at Clark.com.
Yeah,
so
what we're trying to do is come up with a tool, because it's so hard to keep up with what it's not my term originally, but the idea that every one of them except the Capital One Venture X, the Citi Strata Elite, the American Express Platinum, and the Chase Sapphire Reserve have become basically coupon books. And some of them automatically activate, others you have to manually enroll. How you enroll in them can be different from one thing to another, even with the same credit card and their website. And so it gets to be a bit of a bother. And so most of those ancillary benefits that will defray that annual fee are never used by people because of the complexity of it. And that's why we've talked about, and we're working on trying to come up with a way to streamline that so that you don't leave money on the table.
And if you have that Chase card, by the way, I texted you about this when I saw it, that Aldi's giving, I think it's 10% back, isn't it? Or is it 5? Oh, okay. It's somewhere in there right now. If you add it to your card.
For the next 10 minutes and 10 minutes only, get to Aldi with
like, Clark, Aldi, you can get even more back.
Oh, there's an Aldi being built near me, and it seems like it's taking them forever to build it. And the sign is up. And,
you're peering in the windows?
And no, they've got a big chain link fence around it.
Keep people like you out.
You can't get close to it. But you know what I won't do? I won't be going there when it first opens because it's a madhouse. Mm-hmm. You ever been to an opening of an Aldi?
I have not.
Oh, well, this just shows what a loser I am.
No.
I've been to the opening of, Aldi, and I've been to the opening of Lidl, and these two German arch rivals that are growing in the United States have, to call them cult followings, doesn't quite
I've done that
suffice.
with the Trader Joe's.
You've gone to a TJ's opening?
Yeah, I love Trader Joe's.
What do you get at a TJ's grand opening?
Well, I just wanted to get in the store and see it. I didn't get any prizes or anything.
No prizes?
No, but they had awesome merchandise. It was great. I love Trader Joe's.
Well,
this is not a commercial.
For TJ's?
No. And when you say that, I only hear TJ Maxx, which is another store I love.
Oh. Well, I always hear Trader Joe's referred to as TJ's. I guess I'm just more inside than you are.
Yeah, you are. You definitely are.
Yeah, and how funny is it that the same family owns Aldi and Trader Joe's, which are such different vibe stores.
Very different.
But Aldi is on its way to being the third largest supermarket in the United States with their little stores. Well, enough today from us, and I hope that you have a great, great weekend. And we've got so much for you on Clark.com and ClarkDeals.com. And we now have, on the weekends, we have an investment, personal finance kind of newsletter as part of our regular Clark newsletters. And our newsletters are free. They have what's known as a sky-high open rate, which means people find the information in our newsletters valuable enough that even with busy lives, when you get them, the open rate is, anytime I ever talk with anybody about our open rate, they're like, what? What? Because they've never heard of any newsletter ever having people open it at such a high rate. And I really am so proud of our staff that work so hard to make the information relevant, usable, actionable by you. And if you ever want to sign up for any of our newsletters, Clark.com/newsletter or newsletters, both get you there, and you see the choices. We make it just as easy to dump us as to sign up. So if we're wasting your time, you delete it. If you find it useful, you open it. And when I say delete it, I mean you can discontinue getting a newsletter product of ours, if you don't find it useful, just as easy as the initial sign up, which is how it should be with things you sign up for that then people play games with you to discontinue them. I don't believe in that. I want it to be serving you, empowering you with ideas so you can save more, spend less, and never, 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 not ever get ripped off. So you go enjoy that weekend, and we'll be serving you Monday.